Imagine walking through a forest when everything suddenly goes quiet. You take another step, and somewhere beyond the trees, a tiger is watching. You cannot see it. You may not even know it is there, but the tiger may have already noticed you. Not because it has instantly decided what you are. It may simply have detected movement, sound, scent, and a strange presence entering its environment. And now something important is happening. Before a tiger reacts to a human, there may be a moment of assessment. What is this? How close is it? Is it moving toward me? Is it moving away? Is it dangerous? Or is it simply something unfamiliar? We cannot look inside a tiger's brain and read its thoughts. But research into tiger behavior gives us clues about how these animals perceive their surroundings and respond to humans. And the answer is far more complicated than simply prey or threat. A tiger's world begins with information. Its senses are constantly collecting signals. A sound in the vegetation, movement between trees, a scent carried by the wind, footsteps changing direction. Humans rely heavily on vision, but tigers also depend strongly on hearing and smell to understand what is happening around them. So imagine that moment again. You are walking through the forest, unaware of the tiger. But the tiger hears something. At first, it may not know exactly what it is. Then another signal arrives, a shape, movement, distance, direction, and this is where the encounter becomes interesting. Movement matters because tigers are ambush predators. Their hunting strategy depends on getting close to potential prey without being detected. But that does not mean every moving object becomes prey. A deer moves differently from a person. A human walks upright. Human movement is unusual compared with the animals tigers commonly hunt. The tiger may gather information before responding, and distance changes everything. A tiger that notices a person from far away has different choices from a tiger that suddenly encounters someone at close range. It may remain hidden, it may move away, it may watch, or, depending on the circumstances, it may become defensive. There is no single automatic back reaction every time a tiger sees a human. This is where our own interpretation can become misleading. If we see a tiger staring at someone, we might immediately think it is hunting, but a stare does not tell us exactly what is happening inside the animal's mind. The tiger could be assessing distance, monitoring movement, deciding whether to remain where it is, or simply trying to understand an unfamiliar presence. Scientists can study behavior. They can observe where tigers move, when they are active, and how their behavior changes around humans, but they cannot translate a tiger's mind into human sentences. And some of the strongest evidence comes from what tigers do when humans never even realize they are nearby. In places where tigers and people share landscapes, tigers can change their activity patterns. Research has found that tigers may avoid areas or times associated with high levels of human activity. Think about what that means. I have never seen a tiger here, but the tiger may have already noticed the human world and simply chosen another route. Another time, another part of the forest, sometimes the response to a human is not confrontation, it is avoidance. And that changes the entire picture, because not every tiger responds to people in exactly the same way. Individual experience matters. A tiger living in a protected forest with little human contact may behave differently from one living near villages, livestock, roads, or heavily used trails. Age matters, habitat matters, previous experience matters, and so does the immediate situation. A tiger defending territory is not in the same situation as one simply passing through. A mother with cubs may respond differently from a solitary adult, and a tiger that feels trapped has fewer choices than one with an open escape route. This is where fear and threat perception become important. People often imagine fear as the opposite of aggression. But in wildlife, fear can lead to avoidance, vigilance, or defensive behavior. If an animal has space to escape, leaving may be the safest option. If that escape route disappears, the situation can change. So perhaps the most important question is not, does the tiger want to attack? It may be, does the tiger feel it needs to do anything at all? Because sometimes the safest decision is to walk away. A tiger's behavior can involve a constant balance of risk and opportunity. And injury matters, food matters, terror experience matters, and uncertainty matters. A powerful predator still cannot afford unnecessary conflict. An injury can affect its ability to hunt and survive, so a confrontation has a cost. This may help explain why a tiger's first response to a human is not necessarily an attack. It may simply be information gathering. But there is another layer. What if the tiger has encountered humans before? A tiger's behavior can be shaped by experience. It may learn that certain places, sounds, scents, or times of day are connected with danger, food, livestock, or human activity. This becomes especially important in areas where people and tigers live close together. When natural prey is available and human activity can be avoided, there may be little reason for a tiger to approach people. But when habitats change, prey becomes scarce, or livestock becomes easier to access, the relationship can become more complicated. Some tigers have adapted their movements to human-dominated landscapes. That does not mean they have become tame. It means they can learn. And learning is one of the most important clues to animal intelligence. The tiger does not need to understand a village the way a human does. It only needs to learn that certain places or situations produce certain outcomes. That knowledge can change its behavior. Now return to the forest. The tiger has seen you. You have finally noticed the tiger. For you, it feels like one enormous moment. But for the tiger, it may be a sequence of changing information. You move, it watches, you stop, it reassesses. You create distance. The situation changes again. What feels like a dramatic confrontation to the human may actually be a constantly updated decision-making process for the animal. And this leads to one of the biggest misconceptions about predators. People often think intelligence means being fearless, aggressive, or dominant. But in the wild, intelligence can look very different. Sometimes, intelligence is knowing when not to act. For a tiger, avoiding unnecessary risk can be just as important as successfully catching prey. And here comes the twist. The human may think the tiger is deciding whether the human is dangerous. But the tiger may be evaluating something much simpler. Is this human worth dealing with? If the answer is no, the encounter can end without either side understanding what happened. The tiger disappears into the forest. The human keeps walking, and neither realizes how close they came. That is the hidden side of predator psychology. The most important decisions may happen silently. No roar, no chase, no dramatic movement, just a pause, a change in direction, a retreat into cover, a decision to wait. Scientists can observe these patterns and build careful explanations for them, but there will always be a limit. We do not know that a tiger thinks that human is dangerous. We can say its behavior may be consistent with threat assessment. We do not know that it thinks that human is prey. We can examine whether its behavior resembles hunting behavior under particular circumstances. That distinction matters, because the tiger's mind is not completely unknowable. We can see pieces of it through behavior, learning, memory, sensory perception, risk assessment, adaptation, decision-making. So imagine that forest one final time. You are standing among the trees. The tiger is somewhere nearby. Maybe it has already detected you. Maybe it is watching. Maybe it has already decided to leave. And maybe you will never know. The most fascinating part is that the tiger may not be deciding whether to attack you at all. It may simply be deciding whether you mat to its next move. Your movement, your direction, your distance, your presence, all of it becomes information. And inside the tiger's mind, the forest is not simply a place filled with animals. It is a constantly changing map of signals, risks, opportunities, memories, and choices. So when a human suddenly appears inside that map, the tiger does not necessarily see a target. It sees something to understand. And sometimes the most intelligent decision a wild predator can make is to simply disappear.